anti-media and anti-comedy crusade that Donald Trump and the MAGA movement have been on recently, saying that comedians were not, quote, the victims of this administration. We are a visible manifestation of certain things, but the victims are the people that are struggling to have any voice and are being forcibly removed from streets by hooded agents. Those are the victims of this administration. And I think that that is a good thing to acknowledge. I mean, look, if you are Jimmy Kimmel or you're Stephen Colbert and you lose your job, that sucks. And it's very scary that, a fascist leader like this would have that sort of influence. But at the end of the day, you're not going to the gulag. You've got a lot of money. There are regular people whose lives are being ruined literally every day. There are Americans. There are undocumented, migrants here. There are random fishermen in boats that are literally being blown up. There are, Palestinian kids that are being utterly ignored. There are a lot of people paying far higher prices for Donald Trump's actions and inactions both. And so I'm glad that he's recognizing that. But I also think he knows and he should acknowledge that we care about what happens to comedians, and we much more so care about what happens to the media and whether we have a free media, free press, or whether we're gonna end up as just another Hungary. I think that we're all really concerned about that. And he did acknowledge fears about Trump's authoritarian approach, said the US may wind up in, quote, some kind of soft autocracy where news is controlled, but also urged Trump's critics to recognize the power that they have, saying we have a lot of different avenues. And suppression creates opportunity, and a populace that is thirsty for inspiration and leadership and morality and integrity and lack of corruption, that's fertile ground for that opportunity. And I agree about that. And I think that that largely has been true for decades and decades in these sorts of, when democracies fall. I do think that there is a lot more control over the population than there used to be, in terms of algorithms, in terms of the ability to control things and monitor things with AI. ICE is investing tons of money in some sort of massive social media AI monitoring tool. So privacy is a lot rarer than I think that it used to be. And I think that the decades of propaganda have gotten a lot of people to be very comfortable with just being told what they already want to hear. I think that that appetite does exist. I just don't know if it's as strong as it might have been in a prior age. But that said, you go to war with the weapons you have, and media and comedy both are, they're, I think, time-tested and important tools for fighting back against this sort of autocracy. And so I'm glad that we still have him. I'm glad that we have, Stephen Colbert, and also the many independent voices that are at risk as well. When they take over and TikTok and try to turn it into some sort of right-wing hellscape, that's going to affect a lot of independent creators, that's how they distribute their news.